All right, we have a doozy today.
Indeed.
What would you describe this list that I have formulated for the comic book community?
I don't even know.
This is one of the most convoluted titles you're ever going to hear, and it's probably going to be confusing as all get out.
But it's important.
Very important.
Because these books are out there.
Yes.
These books could be worth something. We're talking about like speculation in comic books. Let's get deep into speculation right now.
Yeah.
Gold, baby.
With a reason.
Mm-hmm.
No gold on this list, though, but potential mining.
Surprisingly, there's a lot of really new comics on this list, and a lot of these recalled comics are probably not on anyone's radar, and that's why we're seeing these quantities so low.
This list is the lowest census count of graded recalled comics currently on the CGC census.
Make Tom say that 5 times fast.
I could never do that.
Right.
But this is what it is. And this is important because this tells us a couple things. One, no one knows about these errors.
Right.
Some of these errors we do know. We've made videos on a couple of these comics, but because it hasn't hit the CGC census, it means that people do not know about these errors. That's the first thing. The second thing is that these comic books are out there, and if they don't know them, they could be hunting for them. They could be getting them graded and be potentially one of the very few to have these comic books graded in the world.
Well, we've seen CGC grade these comics before. We've seen them grade recalled comics, and they will actually say recalled comic, recalled edition. I mean, they'll let you know. CGC knows what they are doing with this. So if you get one, send it to them and make sure you give them the note for it because they will absolutely put it on the label.
Let's do this. Let's jump in.
You want to kick us off with number 10?
Number 10, DC Presents Legion of Superheroes, number 1, recalled June 2011. This issue confused many readers because it was published with chapters out of sequence.
Yeah,
so it's like, what's happening?
Exactly.
It's like, is this going back in time? What just happened?
They had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah. So they recalled it. And you got to look for the Yellow Legion logo. That's the difference between the recalled and the original one.
Okay, so this was reprinted with a different logo. Look out for the yellow logo because that's going to indicate that this has the error inside.
Yep.
You may see eBay listers not putting this on the listing because it looks like a first print.
Right.
And this book is going right now between $10 and $15 consistently. A strong number of 9.
Wow. That's right.
Only 9 total graded comic books on the census.
Yeah.
It is impressive.
Wow.
Maybe one of our audience will be number 10.
Yeah. Let us know.
So, number 9, and again, these numbers are kind of arbitrary. It's just so you know this is a list.
Yeah.
Avengers vs. Infinity number 1, the Lin 1 in 25 variant. Now, the error was on both books, but the Lin one is definitely more sought after because it was a tougher find. The comics were misprinted with the very last page of the final story, Night of the Living Dead. It's missing. So you have half of a panel, and half of the panel is an ad. And I think Tom and I talked about this in an earlier recalled video, but even though people are aware of this, there's only 8 on the census, and it's going for about $80 to $100.
This last page is super important because, see, this issue takes place within a dream, and you don't find out that this issue takes place in a dream until the last page. And you know what happens in the last 2 pages? Black Widow lifts Thor's hammer. So you find out at the second to last page that she can lift the hammer. And then the story stops. But if you have the last page, you know that she comes out of the dream and the hammer is just on the ground. And there's no way in hell she could lift that hammer.
You know, there's like 100 people out there. It's like, no, I swear to God, she did.
I saw it one time. It happened. I remember.
Will fight you.
So that's number 9. Let's go on to number 8. This is one of my personal favorites. I'm looking for this issue. It's on my notification on eBay, but it never shows up. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Number 7. Recalled because, well, there was an ad in it that wasn't appropriate for children. This is a kid's comic book, and they put an Alan Moore V for Vendetta omnibus, like hardcover slipcase ad in it.
No, this isn't like a Marvel Miracle Douche ad or anything. This is a legitimate V for Vendetta ad that just happens to be in the wrong type of book.
Whoopsies.
Yeah.
So they recalled it. This book's going for between $15 and $25, but this is one of those ones that you want to be looking for because when it shows up, it gets purchased pretty dang quick. Yeah. Especially because there's only 7 on the CGC census.
Man.
Shout out to recalledcomics.com for keeping all of this information, keeping it up to date so that we can make these videos.
Seriously.
Shout out.
Yeah. So coming in at number 7, Herobear on the Kid Annual number 1. And the thing about this is that page number 5 was printed twice. So page 7 is missing. And then the price was printed wrong.
Also has 2 errors.
Correct. It's supposed to be $3.99, but it was printed at $4.99. So that's the one you want to look for. $4.99 version of this comic.
Ooh.
And there are only 6 on the census. And it goes for about $2 to $10.
$2 to $10. This is a good one. This, I think, when we get to this marker right here, we are officially pissing off eBay sellers across the world, across the country, because these are on eBay.
Yeah.
These are on eBay and they do not say error. So these eBay sellers are going to have a bunch of eBay messages.
You guys.
Hey, can you send me a picture of page send me a picture of page 5?
But truthfully, this is the type of thing that if you have Herobear and the Kid Annual from 2013, you want it sold.
Yeah,
if someone
true.
offers you $5 for a $10 book, you're like, take the 5. I don't even want to ask why.
Yep.
You know, I've had some offers today that I'm looking at going, that'll never sell for 100. I'll take 55.
Yeah, just
one
always
and
got to
gone.
try.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to try. And this one is like, it's all over. And you don't know because you can tell because the pictures aren't being taken in the beginning of the book, in the middle, page 5. So
Just look for the price.
yeah,
$4.99.
that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
That is the way to do it.
So the next 2 have the same number of books that are on the census, but coming in at number 5, tied for number 5, Mouse Guard Legends of the Guard Volume 3, number 3. Now, this is recalled because it had a paper stock problem. Like the cover should have been a little bit thicker, a little bit more of a cardstock, and it was actually kind of a thinner paper cover with a matte finish. So we've seen this printing error. It's kind of like Tangled Web number 1. There's a Spider-Man book that has the same type of thing where it should be a thicker cardstock. The book's going for not a whole lot of money. I mean, $5 to $10 no. And most people aren't going to know. A lot of the Mouse Guard books were kind of like a smaller, odd size. And again, it's another one of those kid type books that you're just not going to see a whole lot of anyway. I think I only got one at the store and I may have ignored the recall issue because a lot of times Diamond will send out an email or a physical letter and you look at it and go, I only got one. I'm not going to pay to ship it back.
Right. Going for $5 to $10. A lot of peeps aren't going to know about this issue. It's going to be listed on eBay as just a standard first print. Look out for that thinner matte finish. It's going to feel differently.
Yeah.
You may find it. And by the way, that Tangled Spider-Man number 1, Tangled Web number 1 goes for like $10 to $20. It's another affordable error print to keep an eye out for.
And that is a very cool Garth Ennis, John McRae book, which is a great read anyway.
Love me some Garth Ennis.
All right, moving on to number 5, shared with the census count of a low 2 is another one that you can find everywhere that no one knows about. Vermilion number 12. Now this was recalled because the letters page was filled with a bunch of Latin text. Like legit, the whole page is in a different language.
Dead language.
Yes.
So this is interesting. So I used to do video game programming, and one of the things that we would do is when we had space holder text, there's just kind of this like lorem ipsum paragraph that you copy and paste, and it sits there until you fill it with real text. Now, this isn't that exact paragraph, but it is very much that idea. You can tell that even the response says, and the editor replies, and the rest is in Latin. So they had just kind of set out typeset of here's an inch and a half, and we know how much space they need in the book, and they never replaced it with the real text.
They just send it out like that. Nice.
Someone kind of glossed over and like, yeah, those
What's
words look
happening?
good, sure.
So DC recalled that book because of the Latin text. They had to.
Yeah.
But then they put page 8 of that recall out of sequence. So they had to put a recall notice on that recall as well.
Double recall.
And then they had to do a third print. So technically there are 2 error prints of this issue. And if you look on eBay, you're going to find multiple copies of this issue with no recent sold listings and no indication on which printing this is, which has the error. So have at it because there's only 2 on the census. These go for between $1 and maybe $5 in dollar bins across the country.
Yeah, Vermilion from Helix and DC Comics in the mid-90s is not a high-selling book.
I remember.
Who would have thought?
I remember.
I've read it. I totally know
Many
this
of
book.
these.
Yeah.
Moving on to number 4 on the list, Bee and Puppycat number 7. This is a very interesting recalled comic. In 2014, this issue came out, and there was a recalled notice that was sent. This issue was then held and re-released in 2015 with an entirely different interior. Same cover, same back cover, but different story on the inside. It's very strange. Boom never stated why this change happened, but this book was recalled, and you're looking for that 2014 date on that serial bar. Because if it has that 2014 date, it's the old story. It's the only way you're going to be able to tell the difference unless you've read both stories. And you're going to want to do this because there is only a very low count of 1 on the CGC census
So far.
so far. This is a book that I've gotten out of dollar bins at conventions. I've bought quite a few in my time.
You're such a Bee and Puppycat fan, Tom.
Bee and Puppycat's way underrated.
No, it's not.
You don't like Bee and Puppycat? No. Oh, come on. That's like
Son.
classic internet comics, man.
Wow.
I know. Just wait until we have internet keys start to like pop, you know?
Woo.
Okay.
Digital comics.
I'm a big, Brian Clevenger and 8-bit theater guy, but Atomic Robo is about what I'm following now. So
Wait till
that's
I
good
pull out a
stuff.
flash drive and I'm like, I have a key appearance.
Right here.
Right here on my flash drive.
Could
Wow.
you sign it, Stanley? Could you sign my thumb drive?
This is every ASM on a thumb drive.
That's awesome.
I downloaded it from Pirate Bay. Will you please sign my flash drive?
Wow.
Don't do that.
For only
Please.
$180,
Seriously.
Stanley will sign your thumb drive,
I
right?
bet he'd do it.
I know.
And your
He probably
thumb.
couldn't do
He'll
it.
sign
It's
anything.
kind of small.
It's too small, right?
Okay. All right. Moving on to number 3.
Coming in at number 3, Hacks / My First Maniac number 4. Cover A and B. It was recalled because the barcode was printed inside. And there's this picture spread there. And the barcode is in there in the one page. So half of this picture is gone.
It's like a 2-page spread with half of the person
Yeah.
missing. Now, what's interesting about this issue is that they had to recall both A and B. And when they recall it, it's a new printing, right? So they have to change the barcode. So they changed the barcode for B, but they didn't change the barcode for A. So that's another mistake that was made after they caught the initial error.
Recall number 2.
We're like, it's Inception happening here. We're entering recalls within recalls.
And you can find it for $1 or $5 on eBay.
And there's only how many on the census?
1.
Only 1.
That's crazy.
I knew I should have worn my Matrix shirt today.
You should have. You should have done it.
All right, so another one of these. Number 2 on the list right now, Batman Bruce Wayne Murderer. Now, this was released. This is the trade paperback edition that was released. And the interesting thing about this is that 2 of the issues just weren't printed. So if you're reading Bruce Wayne Batman Murderer and wondering what the hell happened, it's because 40% of the story is missing.
Whoopsies.
The way you can identify this, on the back of the book, it will not say Detective Comics 678 or Batman Gotham Knights number 29. Both are integral parts to that story, and both are things that you need to read to know about Batman Bruce Wayne Murderer. So if you happen to find the trade paperback from 2014 that does not mention that Detective Comics or that Batman Gotham Knights, you got yourself a winner. As of right now, these are going for $10 to $20, but there is only 1 graded on the CGC census.
Only 1.
Yep.
Oh,
Could you imagine the guy that figured it out, that bought it, and he's like, what's happening here?
I wonder how many of these individuals, because this is like, there's literally, we're talking about under 20 people on this list own these comics that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So like, I wonder what percentage of these individuals even knew the error that they were sending in.
It's crazy.
I mean, like how many people are looking for that Vermilion? You know, they're just like, oh, I'm just going to send in my Vermilion, want to get that graded. And oh, boom, bingo,
Hey.
error print.
Who's sending in Vermilion 12 to get graded, though?
I did, sir.
That's a good point. That's a
Like,
good point.
a lot of these are probably not books that you would get generally graded, And like I said, Diamond sends out emails. I get an email probably once every 5 or 6 weeks of this book got recalled because X and such page is X and such, or the cover is X. And there's a lot of them out there. And most of them don't make even headline news. Most people aren't talking about them. Or you have something like the Action Comics 1002 that happened a few weeks ago, and there was a word used as kind of a pejorative, and people were talking about recall, but they're not recalling it anyway.
Right.
So there's definitely more information out there than people know. So I don't know. Get it graded.
Coming in at number 1. I never said B and Puppy Cat never had a B and a C cover, and both of them are on this list. Coming in at $15 to $20 a piece. 0 on the census.
Wow.
Boom.
None.
I should get one.
You just did.
I
In
did.
between the
I'm
break, I'm like looking at you trying to script this damn podcast.
I know. He's
And you're like, hold on, man. I'm buying one of these on eBay.
How do you spell B?
It's okay. He's from Puerto Rico.
Well, that is how we wrap this list off. Both B and C, none on the census. $15 to $20 for these variants. Look out for that 2014 in the barcode. We do appreciate your time. We hope that you can find some of these errors in long boxes.
I want to know, do any of you already have some of these in your collection, or any errors that we may have missed? Do you have any good hunting stories from this week? Leave it in the comments down below.
We definitely like hearing your success stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
As always, we do appreciate your time. And don't forget,
Geek.
Responsibly.
enough
Said. I'm here from Eris from Variant Comics. Thanks so much for watching the video. We do appreciate all you do, man.
Thanks, man. Geek responsibly.
Every day.